You're welcome back from that quick timeout. It's still Daybreak here on Trust TV, and it's time for us to look at stories that have made it to the front pages of our dailies. And as is the culture of the house, we're starting off with Daily Trust. Now, boldly there in front on Daily Trust, it says food prices drop ahead of Ramadan. Maize now 47,000 for 100 kg, and rice now 70,000 naira for 50 kg. Meaning 25 kg will be 25,000 naira. 35,000 naira. Okay. And traders cite Naira gain, importation others. Importation not a good development, says farmers. All right, still on Daily Trust. APC National Caucus meets ahead neck. Card reader almost set Nigeria ablaze in 2015, says Jonathan. 13 killed in Yobe, Sokoto auto crashes. And still on Daily Trust, Nigeria's GDP grew by 3.40% in 2024, says the NBS. And federal government demands probe as Nigerian footballer dies in Uganda. Natasha sues Akpabio for defamation, demands 100 billion naira in damages. And Bayelsa Varsity student drowns in swimming bet. Those are the stories we have on the front pages of the Daily Trust newspaper. Do well to grab yourself a copy and keep yourself informed. Now moving over to Guardian. On Guardian, boldly, Jonathan Jega carpet politicians, judiciary INEC over flawed election. You find that on page 6. And still on Guardian, Tinubu OK's 1 trillion naira financing for states to strengthen PHCs. EFCC arraigns 16 Chinese for alleged cyber terrorism internet fraud in Lagos. Still on Guardian, APC begins 2027 groundwork as Tinubu governors party leaders meet on internal crisis. On IBB revolution, Igbo group demands 100 trillion naira compensation fund Igbo. And Belgium fares losing 40% of petrol exports to Nigeria as Tinubu woes investors. Still on The Guardian, court remands Lagos Assembly workers for alleged assault on DSS officers. Well, those are the stories on the front page of Guardian. Do well to grab yourself a copy and keep yourself informed. All right, now moving on. We have Punch there. To our next paper, we have Punch. Now, boldly there on Punch. Why INEC votes count can't be accurate, says Jonathan. Ex-President declares ghost voters, regional influences, seeks electoral reform. Nigeria's World Bank debt may hit $9.2 billion US as federal government eyes 6 loans. All right. And on tax reform, Senate plans review as custom ASU fault provisions. Afenifere backs Kalu, says declaring Abiola president long overdue. South-South governors move against Wike's camp over PDP's Congress crisis. Still on Guardian, Obasa awaiting ruling before returning to Assembly, and APC dismisses anti-Ganduje plot as El-Rufai absent from NEC meeting. All right. These are the stories on the front pages of Punch. Do well to grab yourself a copy and keep yourself informed. All right, now joining us via Zoom to look at the stories on the front pages of the paper, we have former Director of News, Voice of Nigeria, Ben Shemang. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lillian. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
But I don't understand how the pictures are appearing.
I will tell you the story. Well, Sunday is not here to comment on our red cap that is back, but I'm sure he'll be quite excited if I tell him that the red cap is back on your head. All right, let's take a look at some of the stories we have, starting off with the case of food prices drop. We've been seeing it through the week that food prices have dropped, although some people have said it is not reflecting in retail stores just yet, as people are still selling things at the old price. But what is your take on the drop of food prices? Are you seeing any difference in your locality or where you are?
According to some people here, they said when they go to the market, what they used to buy last month, there are slight changes. Yes, I remember I bought some tubers of yam. Prices have dropped a bit. But I can see that some farmers are not happy over it, saying that they spend so much to farm. Now the prices are have become so low. What is done in some other places is government is supposed to buy some of these things when just to a kind of support the farmers so that they don't stop farming. In other words, government should therefore begin to subsidize when it comes to the farmers, because they bought fertilizer very high prices. Now the goods are being sold very low. In other words, they are not making any gain. Therefore, it's time for government to support the farmers by way of giving them some incentives. But it's good on the overall that people should be able to feed their families.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Now we're seeing that ex-president Goodluck Jonathan has a lot to say about the election and our electioneering process. From talking about the card reader, he said card reader almost set Nigeria ablaze in 2015. He's talking about why INEC vote count can't be accurate. He's talking about ghost voters, regional influences, electoral reform. In fact, in one of our news reports, he says that election officers should resign and new ones should come in, seeing that if they can't carry out a credible election. Now, what's your take on where he stands on our electoral process and INEC as a whole?
Of course, it's like he's calling for very sweeping changes when it comes to election and election management. The umpires, as far as is concerned, there are some areas of lackluster approach. And talking of the card readers, truly, it was not easy around 2015. People were made to understand that it's going to be like withdrawing money either via an ATM, or you go to the bank, or you transfer using your phone. In as much as you vote here, your vote will be counted somewhere and registered, so that what is going to come out from your polling station will tally with the collection center, so that it's going to be a leak proof. But you see, the Nigerian, there has to be this change of mind. There has to be truly, because when it comes to politics, we throw away decorum, we throw away the conscience, we throw away religion, we throw away, look, money becomes the issue. If my person does not win, then we rock the boat. That's the thing. I think that time has come that we should throw away those things. Don't help politicians to fight their fight. You see what is happening with El Rufai and APC, El Rufai and PDP's Atiku Abubakar. You could see that at the point they all are at the dagger drawn. But today they are hypnotizing together. So don't help the politician to die for them, because they are not also dying for you. So that is what Jonathan is saying. We need to have a very stable polity, men of conscience, the umpire that knows his job, and whoever wins gets it and he knows that he has won. Whoever is defeated knows that he's been defeated clearly, and the evidence will always be there. Supporters will also know that their party or their candidate has won or has been defeated.
All right. Now let's talk about parties, political parties. We're seeing that the PDP has its own going on, with governors kicking against South governors kicking against Wike and all that is happening. And we also know that there's drama in the opposition. We also know that there's also drama in the ruling party, with APC caucus meeting ahead of their own neck. What are your take on how those two parties are, with 2027 coming close by, with lots of internal politicking and crisis happening? What are your expectations from both parties before the election?
Yeah, usually when you have the caucus meeting, of course you also have that of the national body meeting. Then the executive body will also meet before you even have a convention. But you can see that these political parties are not talking about any convention. And you also see PDP, the South governors, they ought to have had their regional kind of meeting. But Wike appeared to have hijacked everything, and you could see that all that they do there, that they did in the South at the weekend, you will see that the PDP governors never attended, and that tells you it's not yet well with PDP in the area. And this is also trying to show to Wike that he should look at the way he dances. His political dance is not too favorable for him now, because you can see that the governors are still holding, scoring, and of course deciding where the ball should go. For the APC, yes, they ought to meet, but you could see that El Rufai is still, do I say, he's throwing some spanners into the work. Is there a clock in the wheel of progress there? So they have to also manage it very well. Even though we're hearing the Minister of Works and Housing already campaigning that the west up to Niger Delta Region Expressway will be completed when Tinubu is into his second term in office. In other words, as far as is concerned, APC has already won. So just 2 years into the office, they are already campaigning, not just for 2027, but they are already saying he has won. So it's not too good when it comes to politics. And when you look at Labour Party, Labour appears to have gone into some oblivion. Or how do I describe it? You no longer hear them at all. Also, if there are issues, this is time to handle all of that. If you don't handle them now and time has come for election, that's when you'll be running to courts looking for injunctions here and there.
All right. Thank you very much for pointing out all that is playing out in the political parties. We're watching, and we know that one thing I'm certain of is that by this end of this year, I'm sure most of them will have their houses in order. But we're seeing that EFCC arraigned 16 Chinese in Nigeria for alleged cyber terrorism and fraud. It's not the first time we're seeing this kind of story make up, but we hardly see a conviction. What's your take on this?
Yeah, one is happy that these Chinese, Filipinos, and some other nationals have been caught in these cyber crime activities. Now, the international community has been made to believe that all those doing this advanced fraud and other cyber crimes, that they are mostly Nigerians, and you could see that to deceive the world the more, these nationals, the Chinese, moved into Nigeria, recruited Nigerian young Nigerians, and engaged them into 419 activities, targeting European hotels and their guests, targeting well-known individuals in America, Canada, and many other places like that. It's nice that EFCC is doing a nice job, but one is worried that the Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, is saying that they should not be paraded, not just the Chinese, any other person who is a suspect, like terrorists or those involved in bandits that have been caught, should not be a kind of paraded on camera. But you see, as far as I'm concerned, when you parade such people, where they probably committed some heinous crimes, where some people, survivors, will recognize them, they'll see them on screen and provide more evidence. There can be prosecution witnesses, that will aid. But when we tend to protect them, so we are giving them the heroes welcome. In China, will Nigerians be given these privileges? We should look at that. And when you're talking about expatriate quota, who are the experts coming into Nigeria to invest? What's their portfolio? Where are their companies? Let's see their pedigree. What have they been doing anywhere? How much is their investment profile? How much is it worth? So that nobody just enters here with a suit and begin to say he's an investor, and we begin to treat them like heroes. After all, Shumole and from the immediate past Controller General of Immigration once said that many of these engineers you see working on Nigerian railways and construction sites are prisoners in China, being brought to work here, to work for the government of China and also work for their feeding. You could see that the Minister of Interior in Nigeria is lamenting that feeding prisoners in Nigeria is costing around 2.1 billion naira or something yearly. So the Nigerian prisoners are just there caged, and you just have to vote some amounts for them. So this is how to also use prisoners the Chinese way.
All right. Now, finally, before we go quickly, We see what is ensuing in the National Assembly between Natasha Akpoti and Akpabio. She has sued him for 100 billion naira for defamation, and we also saw reports here where the National Assembly were considering punishments. Now, quickly, what is your take on this rift that is being brought out to the public? What does it say about our National Assembly?
I think that the Senate President appears to be a bit harsh on Madam Natasha. And Madam Natasha too appears to just stick to her guns, just going her ways, you know. You see, going to court, in terms of privileges, there are absolute and qualified freedoms when you're talking about the National Assembly. When Akpabio is talking seated and presiding, anything he does there is not actionable. Truly, it will just be an exercise in futility. Yes, the courts will just exercise. If you go there, the court will usually entertain you, and in the end, they say you can't stop the National Assembly from working. But it's different from when you the same words you're saying them in a different scene, maybe in your home at a certain meeting that is not official and not voting, covered with parliamentary privileges. So I think that they should also show Nigerians that their leaders, their lawmakers, their distinguished fellows that Nigerians push there, not to engage in this kind of slinging we are seeing in the social media. It's not a welcome development at all, so that Nigeria can move forward.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Benjamin, for always creating time out to join us on our news review. We appreciate your presence. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, to our listeners there, that was Benjamin, former director of News Voice of Nigeria there, talking about stories on the front pages of the dailies. Now, through the entire show, I hope we've been able to keep you entertained. I hope we've been able to keep you informed. And I hope you've left our program with something important and educative today. To all our callers, on behalf of our production crew, to all our callers who called in, to our guests who came in, and to our viewer who joined us online, we say a big thank you to all of you. We do not take your presence for granted. And my name is Lilian Ogazi. Before I go, I would say, please do not forget to always keep yourself informed at all times. Get the available newspaper or a confirmed or informed news site. Read and keep yourself informed. That way you could question the politics and policies and decisions and bills that are being put out by the government from an informed point of view. That way you could actually hold the government accountable, because you know your right as a citizen and you know where you are coming from. At the top of the hour, we'll be bringing you sports. We also have business, and we have the news hour. So stick around on Trust TV. We have a lot packed. But from Daybreak here, we'll do this again tomorrow. Bye for now.